right, here we go in 3, 2.
Oh, yes, back with the theme. This is This Week in Sports. For real this time, hopefully. We recorded one, I don't know, a week ago or something, and I think it turned into some good banter, but it also resulted in some kicking of the freeze, which were pretty hot. I always, tear it up. I'm confident enough in my ability to do it and kick and freeze to say that. But some surprise freestyles by our guests and especially our producer here, Caleb. Oh shit! You got to release some of these freestyles if we got them on. If we got them on record, if we recorded them.
I will.
Yeah, most definitely. So, what ultimately happened the last time we recorded is I had our resident NFL expert in the house once again. We were talking NFL, we were talking golf, we were talking a bunch of stuff, and because we ended up going golfing, Max Paulin, and our boy Terrace, and it was a lot of fun. And it turned into a bit of a shit show, but it was all in all a great time. And I think that was on what we recorded before, which we are going to release eventually.
As a bonus episode.
Yeah. It's not going to be This Week in Sports. We're going to call it something else. It's going to be like a bonus thing, and because it was good fun, and I think some of our freestyles were on it and whatnot, and it just a lot of laughs. But back down to business here. I'm rocking the Northern Alberta Tomahawks swag. Last time I recorded, I'm pretty sure I mentioned I landed a play-by-play spot with the Northern Alberta Tomahawks. They play out of Enoch at their home games, and I'm going to be doing play-by-play for them, which is like hella exciting. And our first game is coming up on this upcoming Saturday, and we play every weekend, either Friday or Saturday. We have our home game in Enoch, and I'm so excited to get this experience and gain it because the more reps, the better. The more experience, it's going to go a long way. So I'm excited for that. It's starting up this Saturday in Enoch, 8 p.m. If you're listening to this by then, come check it out because all the support, the more support, the better. And I mean, it's just outside of Edmonton. So if you're from Edmonton, you're listening to this, that'd be great if you wanted to come check out some junior hockey. It's junior A hockey. I went and did. I guess since the last time since we released an episode, I went and did like a practice run with them. It was like a scrim. It was like a team on team scrimmage kind of a thing, where all the final the people that are looking to make the team are playing against. They're all in together and they're playing against each other. Inter squad scrimmage, I think it's called, and they had me testing out the whole interface, like the mic, the video, like how we're streaming it and whatnot, and the programs that we're using. And so I commentated pretty much the whole game. It was pretty casual because we weren't streaming that particular game, but we were making sure everything worked, and it went amazingly well. I had so much fun, and it felt like it came natural to do hockey play by play because it's something I've always done. Whenever like my boys play NHL or whatever, I always like just kind of commentate on the side, or whenever like a sport happens, I'm always the guy. I'm always the loudmouth without being that typical loudmouth. I always like commentating and commenting on the play. And so when I was doing it down there in Enoch for that inter squad scrimmage, it felt natural. And the best part of it all too is I was down there for like, I don't know, 2 3 hours or something, and it felt like like 10 or 15, 20 minutes. Not that I don't want to be down there, obviously, like I love hockey, but it just like flew by doing the games, man. Like you would look after you. I recorded all the periods individually on the computer I was using, on the laptop I was using, and I would look back on how long it was. It'd be like 25 minutes or 33 minutes, and I was like, what? Like, it just the game of hockey is so quick, and you're continuously talking, continuously describing the play that it just flies by. So I'm excited for that. Cannot wait for this Saturday and this upcoming season. I think it's going to go really well, and it's going to go a long way for my future in this business. Another hockey news, though. Training camps have just opened up in this week in sports, and the GM obviously made his remarks, and so did every other GM. They always talk the same stuff, usually about just what their vision is. But I Ken Holland knows that we're a playoff team. He feels that way, and he feels that this is our window to win a cup. This is it right here. We have the goalie now. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And I've talked about this before on the podcast, so I don't have to go back into how excited I am for this season. I'm going to keep reiterating it every episode because we have a fucking goalie and we have the best team that we've had, I think, in my lifetime. And in regards to that, we also signed our forward Ryan McLeod to an extension. Gave him another year for $800K. We also signed a couple PTOs. We'll see how they work out here in training camp. Our first preseason game comes up this weekend, I believe, or it's coming up in the next 2 days here. Preseason. I was just talking to my buddy Strickland about going to the opening game of the year, October 12th against the Canucks. Probably going to do that. I've been to the last 2 home openers I think I've been to. I got that scarf at the last one or the one before, and I got something else. They always give away swag for the first game, and I love being there because, hockey's back, baby. So it's just around the corner. We'll be talking more and more of that as we get closer. I'm going to see if I can get a special guest to come on the podcast. I was thinking about this earlier. A special guest to preview the NHL season and the Oilers season. I've been burnt before hinting at guests, so I don't want to go into too many details about that. But looking to get that popping. I called it before, and I'll say it again this episode. Oilers going to win the cup in the next 3 years, probably the next 2 years. I mean, we've already established my thoughts on that. There was other just hockey news. Obviously, everyone's starting their training camp, but a big thing in hockey. A couple big notes in this week in sports and this week in hockey news here. McKinnon officially is the highest paid player. I think he signed just over $100,000 more than McDavid did. I think maybe his agent wanted to make that happen, so it's McKinnon's the highest paid player, but McDavid signed 4 years ago, right? And obviously the salary cap was lower then. They raise the salary cap every year. And so it was an 8-year extension worth $100.8 million. McDavid's was, just for comparison, was 8 years, $100 million. Right. So they're in the same realm, obviously, the same league. Well, I mean, money wise. Let's not put McKinnon on McDavid's level. Just he's a Stanley Cup champion. He's good. He's one of the best. McKinnon is, but he's not the best, and he's not by far the best. And that's what McDavid is. McDavid is by far the best player, maybe ever. Maybe. Probably. It's hard to argue with that. But congrats to McKinnon for getting that. I mean, he's a Stanley Cup champion. He deserves it. He's one of the best players in the league, and he does not, I don't think, in my opinion, has the same chances of getting to where they were at this year, or they were at last year, this upcoming year. Meaning, I don't think they're going to make it to the Stanley Cup final this year for a few reasons. The main reason being they lost their goaltender, Darcy Kemper, that got them there. But that remains to be seen. We'll see how it goes. They're still going to be a force to reckon with. I still think the Oilers will have to face them and get past them in the playoffs, or beat the team that beats the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs. We still have to get past that hump, whoever that team may be, and so I mean we still have to get to that pinnacle. Obviously, other NHL news: a couple of huge name retirements in the NHL. The first of which I'll get to Zdeno Chara, the one of two who. Oh, and Keith Yandel retired too. So Keith Yandel and Chara, older gentlemen in the league, to retire. The next person I'm about to talk about, I don't really understand why he retired, but Zdeno Chara retires. Can you believe it? This guy's been playing since 1997. 24 seasons in the league. Incredible. He's a Stanley Cup champion and won it with Boston. And he actually signed a one-day contract with the Bruins to retire as a Boston Bruin. So where's the love for some Zdeno Chara? What a career. You remember Zdeno? He's the big man. He's the 7-foot fucking monster that played in the East and was a defenseman, and just, man, I seen some of his fights. He didn't fight that often, being the big man that he was, but when he did, holy shit, you didn't stand a chance. But Zdeno Chara, what a career. Would it be a Hall of Fame career? He's one of those guys where it's right on the line. His year of eligibility won't be until what is it? It's 2022. So I think his first year of eligibility would be 25 or 26. So there's no player coming from right now that. Yeah, no, I think Zdeno Chara could be a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's a Stanley Cup champion. He had quite the career. I mean, he's a defenseman, so he didn't have the craziest point totals and all that. But, I mean, he was a force to be reckoned with each and every game he ever played. So, every Hall of Fame player could be said about them. So, I could very well see him being in the Hockey Hall of Fame one day. So Keith Yandel also called it a career, and the thing about Keith Yandel is he was Iron Man. He had like the most consecutive games played in the NHL for quite some time. I gotta look it up here, Keith Yandel, because it was either 967. If I can actually remember the number, I'm guessing on 973 games. Yes. Let me see. Iron Man streak. Well, of course, my phone doesn't work when I need it to, because it's a piece, and I'm gonna break it right here on camera over my face, and just keep smashing it until it completely disintegrates into a million pieces. Because it's quite frustrating having to deal with this lack of technology. And it sucks that we have to go back to frickin' 989. I was close. He played 989 consecutive games, which is fucking mind-blowing. That's 11 seasons where he didn't miss a game, Caleb. 989 divided by 82. It's 12. It's over 12 seasons he didn't miss a game.
This man never got sick.
Never got sick. He never got injured.
Damn.
And he announced his retirement. And after 16 seasons, so he played 16 seasons. 12 of the last 16, Caleb, he didn't miss a game. Incredible. So Give him some love. This next retirement, I don't know if love should be required. PK Subban. He retires just after 13 seasons. He retires at 33. He's healthy, as far as everyone knows. He's healthy. He's good to go. He's, by a lot of people's standards, he would be in the prime of his career, and he's retiring. Don't know why. I heard from one of my colleagues that it was because he's trying to pursue a career in broadcasting, which I obviously respect because I'm doing the same thing. But, dude, you're getting paid handsomely as a fucking NHL player, and you're just going to call it quits? I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't like that. I do not like that. So I'm just running through this news here because there's a lot of shit popping off here in the last couple weeks in sports because we missed a week there because of what transpired last time, but it was fun. So I'm not saying it was a bad thing or anything, but there's a lot of news. We'll switch to the MLB. Switch to the MLB right now before we get to some scandalous news in the NBA. Surprise, surprise. And I mean, I'm actually watching the NFL right now, Thursday Night Football, and Cleveland is up on Pittsburgh. Go Cleveland. And I was saying to Caleb that the Cleveland Browns, man, they have the toughest time, maybe outside of Detroit, just always getting the shit end of the stick of everything and all the time. They can never catch a break, and it's just they put their fans through a lot. So I always cheer for these underdog teams, and that includes the Browns and the Detroit Lions. I almost said Tigers there. That's their MLB team. But speaking of MLB, we got some home run news. We have some rule changes coming, and the season is winding down. So might as well start with the Blue Jays. Huge series that's taking place right now against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays are 2 games back behind us. I think they're 1 game now because they beat us 10-5 tonight, the night that we're recording this. So they took the first of 4 against us. I'm gonna have to watch the rest of these games as much as I can. I'm gonna be busy this weekend, and I've been busy as hell for the last week, so I haven't been watching as much baseball as I usually do. But the Jays are 6-4 in their last 10. The Yankees right above them. They're losing ground, but the Yankees are still up 6.5. So it looks like a wild card berth is going to be the way we're going to get in. And so the wild card series this year is a 3-game series, and there's actually 3 wild card teams. So there's 6 total teams in the AL, 6 total teams in the NL that will make the playoffs. The top 2 division winners in both the NL and the AL will get a bye, meaning they won't have to play the wild card series. The division winner with the least amount of wins will have to face the last wild card team, and then the number 1 and number 2 wild card teams will face each other in a best of 3 as well. So that's brand new for this season. What we're trying to do as Blue Jays and as Blue Jays fans is we're looking to get that number 1 wild card spot, so we have home field advantage in that best of 3 series, because that shit goes a long way, especially in Canada. Take it from me, I've been to Rogers Place for a playoff game, and there's nothing even that's still to this day the biggest, most packed, most energetic sporting event I've ever been to. Is a Jays playoff game. So I'm really hoping that we can get that clinch that first wild card spot. But this series against the Tampa Bay Rays, who are right behind us, is going to be it's the biggest series of the season so far, and it might come down to this series depending on tiebreakers and all of that. So this series is huge this weekend. Jays sent down Santiago Espinal, or they placed him on the 10-day DL, and we recall Otto Lopez. We also sent down Julian Merriweather, which was surprising to me. He must have been underperforming, and called up a pitcher to replace him. Schneider said he would use Manoah. It's Manoah and Gausman are two best pitchers. Manoah's the sophomore, pretty much rookie. This Schneider, our head coach, said he would use Manoah for game 162 if home field advantage is at stake, which is obviously huge, like I just mentioned. But in another home run or baseball news, some home runs are popping off. Guerrero hit a monstrous home run last night, but we lost against the Phillies last night, and we lost again today. So it was all for naught yesterday, but Aaron Judge ties Babe Ruth with his 60th home run of the season in This Week in Sports. Absolutely astonishing what Aaron Judge is doing, but can't say it's all that surprising considering how much of a giant the dude is. Right? The dude's like Ted Bundy. He just comes up and just fucking he's one of the biggest baseball players ever. Like literally, like height wise and pound wise, he's just a monster, right? He could play any sport. He's probably a little bit taller than LeBron James, and he could probably play any position in fucking football. Like the dude's fucking massive, and he's hitting home runs. So he has 60, and I don't know. By the time this drops, he could have 61, tying Roger Maris. Yeah, he's only one away. Roger Maris is at 61, and Babe Ruth, he's tied him at his 1927 home run total from 1927. Crazy. Yeah, and so he's one of the greatest home run hitters in a single season of all time. Yeah. So the Yankees Judge ties a record, and who else is making records happen? And this guy deserves a standing ovation. Your boy Albert Pujols in this Week in Sports. He has hit his 697th career home run to pass my boy Alex Rodriguez. And the way it was just worded here was kind of fucked up, but 697. A-Rod was at 696, and that's my boy. And he was on roids. And who knows if Pujols was or not, or is or not, or what the fuck is what, but he's got 697. I thought he was going to hit he was on a roll where he hit like 3 or 4 in like a week. This past week in sports. And he hasn't hit one. He's not an everyday player, but he has mentioned that this is his last season, and I really, really hope he gets to 700. I mean, it's 3 home runs away. So, but there's probably there's like 12 games left in the season ish, depending on which team you're talking about. So 12 games, 3 home runs. You'd almost have to put him in there every day to get him to that point. But like I said, he's not an everyday player. But hopefully they put him in there because, I mean, I can only imagine for my boy A-Rod. He was at 696, and then he called her quits or whatever. But Albert Pujols is at 697, 3 away, and he's got so many games left, and it's like, come on, can you really be that close and not hit 700? So I really hope Pujols is able to hit that mark. Before we switch it up, MLB. I think we might have mentioned this in the episode or the bonus episode that we're going to release, but rule changes coming across the bigs. Bigger bases is the minor one compared to the other ones. Big ones are the pitch clock. You're going to have a pitch clock. You're going to have 15 seconds from the point when the pitcher gets the ball for him to release the pitch.
Oh, wow.
There's some things that could change that. And the other thing is, what was the other big rule? Frick. Should know this. Well, I was thinking about this for a while there. Oh, yes, a ban on the shift. So players have to be set up, quote unquote, traditionally in the field. So meaning you can't have 3 players on one side of second base guarding against this player's tendencies to hit the ball over there, and you can't have 4 outfielders, which is becoming more common recently. You have to have all your 4 infielders on the inside or on the dirt, on the line of the dirt, on the inside when the pitch is thrown. And you can't have any of them obviously in the outfield, and you can't have 3 of them on one side of second base, or more than 2 on one side of second base. So those are the big ones that are going to be coming into play next season. They've been talking about it for a while, and it's been tested in the minors, and obviously they like what they see. So the future is now.
I like it.
I don't mind it. I don't mind the ban on the shift. The one thing that will take a little bit of getting used to, but it'll only be like for like a few games or like a couple weeks or whatever, is the pitch clock.
Right.
Baseball never has a clock, but now it does.
Yeah, but that'll make sure the game is faster paced.
Yeah.
And you can steal bases easier.
Yeah. And what they were saying in their press conference, the heads of the MLB there, is it cut down on the length of game in the minors by like 23 minutes on an average.
Oh, wow.
For the pitch clock. Yeah. So it'll be a quicker game. I mean, there's a shot clock in the NBA, right? There's a game. There's obviously a play clock in the NFL, and so something I heard that I don't mind in overtime in hockey is a shot clock, or something of the sort, where you have to like do something in overtime in hockey, because overtime, when it first happened, when it first went to 3-on-3 in hockey, it was super exciting. It was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then coaches got in the way, and then made it more strategic, right?
Right.
As coaches normally do. But I think it was Brian Burke that suggested a shot clock in overtime. So that's something I always thought about, and I would love that, actually, a shot clock in overtime. But it's getting dicey.
That would mean you'd have to take a shot within a certain amount of time.
Yes.
So you can't just play super defensive and wait for an opening.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. Other quick hockey news that I forgot to mention, just some solidifications in the Oilers lineup. Mike Smith failed his physical, so it's going to be Campbell, our new goalie, and Stuart Skinner as the backup. I think that was already kind of established, right? Thanks, Smith, for everything you did, but that's it, bro. And Cuckoo, he's taking a break for his mental health. Fuck your mental health, man. We need you. Just kidding.
The joke writes itself.
Yeah. Hey. Oh. Yeah.
Apparently not.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say it. But I already said fuck his mental health. So I'll spell out Caleb's not brilliant joke, because he just gets this shit because he's a comedian. Cuckoo. Okay, before we wrap it up here, and before we wrap it up, we have to give a shout out and a congrats to one of the greatest of all time. It looks like two of the greatest athletes in tennis are retiring. Serena Williams, we talked about her before, but Roger Federer, 20-time Grand Slam champion, he announced that he's going to be retiring after this week's Laver Cup, and so what a career! 20-time Grand Slam champion Roger Federer. Been I must say golfing, playing tennis my whole life. Give him a shout out, studio audience. Much love, Roger Federer. So just some quick news in the just some scandalous and some news in the NBA. Not scandalous, but a point of conversation. Because there's trades and stuff going on in the NBA all the time, but I don't know who these players are. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I don't know who some of these players are that are being dealt. So, but something that did catch my eye and a lot of people's eye is Ime Udoka's suspension for the entire season, a coach of the Celtics, for violations of team policies. From all reports and everyone involved, and from everything that everyone's heard, is he had a consensual relationship with an employee, right? But because he was the head coach, that goes against policies like that, right? And so he got suspended for a whole season. I think that's a little much for a consensual relationship. What do you think?
It's technically statutory
How is that?
because you're in a position of power.
Yeah, I know that. I get that. But it's like it's consensual. She was down. And,
Yeah, but then if she wanted to, she could charge saying, "I said it was consensual originally, but looking back at it, you had a power dynamic over."
it's so rough, eh? And so he gets suspended for the whole entire season.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's so this what made me wonder is you can never get together with an employee, a co-employee.
Not if they're your subordinate. No,
If you're the boss, you can't, eh?
never,
Never?
never.
For real, eh?
Yeah, ever. No,
What if they're your assistant?
no, even absolutely not.
What if they're your assistant for that purpose? Just kidding.
They gotta assist me in specific ways.
That's a no-go?
No.
Wow.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but I can't do any favors like that for you.
Shit, I was really hoping, Caleb. No, that's the first thing that came to my mind. And that's probably what the discussion around the water coolers around North America is. I was really digging that chick. What, I can't go talk to her now?
I've been sleeping with my receptionist for years.
Yeah, right?
No, it's not allowed.
It's not allowed, eh?
No.
So how do you go about that then?
You just don't.
That's rough.
The law.
It's the law. You can't hook up with your employees or your co-employees, your co-worker. Can you do your co? You can do your
Yeah, your
co-workers.
coworkers are fine. Yeah.
Co-workers are fine.
I mean, depending if you have,
your co-workers are fair game. Is what you're saying.
as long as there's not a policy against it. Your company can have its own policy.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
your subordinates, you can't. Even if you're coworkers, but they report to you, you can't.
It's crazy, eh?
Yeah.
Fuck. I feel bad for that guy. No, but I actually, you know what I learned today too, off of Homeboy on Barstool. There is his wife is like an actress that we all know. She's that babe from Friday. She's the babe from Fresh Prince. I can't remember her name, but if you've seen her,
Pork Boy?
I don't know who the fuck said it, but
Dave Pork Boy is the one you're talking about?
no, I'm talking about the chick that Buddy has his wife. So he cheated on his wife with this subordinate and is getting suspended. But his wife is like
Oh, you heard this from Barstool. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. His wife is like this actress that we all know. I wish I knew her name, but you know her. You know her. You've seen her. You've seen her in a lot of movies and stuff. She's a babe, bro. She's beautiful, and he cheated on her with some employee. Greedy, right? Yeah, exactly, right? It's like, oh, why, man? Why would you? So, yeah, that's just a point of conversation that I wanted to bring up from the NBA there. And this week in sports history, we'll talk about the Oilers Hockey Hall of Fame. We are making our own Hall of Fame. The Oilers are, because why not? We're a fucking prestigious, legendary, one of the best organizations in sports. Yes. And give a shout out and give a round of applause to legendary defenseman Lee Fogelin, and one of the best, most beloved Oilers ever, Ryan Smith. They will be the first two inductees into the new Oilers Hall of Fame. So give them some love. I love those. I love Ryan Smith, Lee Fogelin. I never seen him play, but Ryan Smith was one of the best.
Our whole life.
Yeah, right?
Our whole childhood.
Yeah, exactly. So we're having a Oilers Hall of Fame. We're making one because why wouldn't we, right? And they're our first inductees. So shout out to them. I love that. Real quick in actual sports history, and it's not really even sports history. It's more my sports history. But this is my show, and I do what I want. Real quick. This is actually here history too. This is fucking hilarious. I have to say this on the mic before I get to TWIS. So with Zdeno Chara retiring, there are now no active NHL players who have lost a playoff series to the Maple Leafs. Yes. There's literally no one playing right now that have ever lost to the Leafs in the playoffs in a series. Oh, give him, yeah, yes. Does that laughs?
Yeah.
We had laughs this whole time?
Yeah.
What?
We've used laughs before.
We never used laughs before. Fucking guy, man. You gotta mark that fucking button, bro. That's amazing. But yeah, 2 years ago on this week in sports history, September 15th, 2020, I had surgery on that freaking thing.
Not for free.
Yeah. I had surgery on that thing, and it went well. And I was looking for a live-in nanny. It didn't happen. Actually, no, it happened a couple times. I had some friends that came over and helped out. But I was off my foot for quite some time. Broke my foot climbing the mountains. I'm pretty sure I told this story on the podcast before. I wasn't able to play sports, play baseball. I remember the first time I played hockey, though. Coming off of it, it felt normal, and it was such a good feeling. But that's for another This Week in Sports History coming up later in a few months. But yeah, thank you for listening to This Week in Sports. I'm your host, Josh Jacko. We're gonna try to do these a little more often than freaking every month, because shit, that last one. It'll be fun though. It'll be worth it when we do drop it, because it's entertaining as fuck. I hope some of Caleb's rhymes are on there, because Caleb was rocking that shit. And yeah, until next time. Maybe I'll spit a freestyle next time too, or whatever. Probably not. No freestyle, eh? Throw in a beat. Let's do it. Just kidding. No, thanks for listening. I'm just kidding, y'all. Until next time. Peace.